We are going to get going. I know several people messaged me that they can't attend live, but want the replay, which is very common. So we're going to get started, but there's a good group of you guys here. So today I am going to share the ins and outs of kind of what you can use with AI and automation and amazing freelance talent to really help you with your business. We are in a very unique time. And I want to make sure that you have all the tools that you need to succeed and keep your business alive, because that's the goal right now. It's not necessarily, and I feel like I'm sounding like a downer with this, but it's not necessarily to super thrive in your business. Hopefully you will, and hopefully these tools will allow you to do that. But this is a time where we're just trying to get through the winter. In other words, we're trying to survive. So then when we come out of this time, we can really thrive in our business. I know we've had some other hard times with the pandemic and other stuff over the last several years. But I know that if you're anything like me as a business owner and entrepreneur, we have a lot of grit and determination. We really believe in what we're building, and we're going to get through it. So let's dive in. And also, if you have any questions throughout at any time, please feel free to go ahead and put them in the comments, and I will definitely get back to you. So real easy, we're going to hit on all the things that I said we were going to hit on, and we'll have plenty of time for a Q&A. So who am I? I know most of you, but if you don't know me, I am the Chief Product Officer here at the Riveter. I am a former founder and CEO at a company called Allobee, which was acquired by the Riveter. Allobee was a curated work marketplace, which now is Riveter Work. So it's literally our former product that we kind of revamped for Riveter Work, which is our work marketplace that we have here at the Riveter. So why me for teaching all of this? I have been teaching about automation for years. It is my kind of passion, hobby, favorite thing. I do have a tech background and know how to code and all of that. But the one thing that I love about automation is that you don't necessarily need to know how to code to make automation happen because of amazing tools like Zapier and others out there. And so I love being able to connect the technical to the non-technical, because I think it's really powerful ways that we can scale our business without a whole lot of people on our team by using automation. I've also implemented AI, artificial intelligence, elements into our product at Allobee and now at the Riveter for over 2 years now. So before ChatGPT and AI was cool, I was already working on it. And I'm currently developing more AI integrations, like a plugin through ChatGPT for Riveter Work, as well as some more things that are coming down the pipeline. I also do some consulting for AI and automation as well. But one of the other reasons that I think I'm a good person to teach this one specifically is that I kept a really lean team during the pandemic and a low overhead, which allowed us to stay alive with the lack of funding that there is for female founders out there. I was able to stretch the funding round that we did in 2020 for over 2 years, basically. And that allowed us to get our way into an acquisition with the Riveter. So let's dive in, but that's a little bit about who I am. So the current economy, we obviously are all dealing with different things in our business, but you may have low cash flow. It might be hard for you to raise funds depending on what type of business you have. Clients are cutting back because they're in your shoes too, and they're struggling. We know that we've seen that at the Riveter. We've seen that, previously with Allobee. I'm hearing about it every day, and I understand. I get it as a business owner. But on the other side, it's hard as a business owner when clients are having to cut back. It's very similar environment to 2008. I actually graduated college in 2008, so I feel like I'm just like attracting recessions or something. But it is important to note that we can get out of this. There are positive things coming our way, but this is kind of the current state that we're in. So I want you to kind of do a pulse check with yourself right now and ask yourself kind of, how are you doing? You don't have to share. We all know that it's hard to talk about the ins and outs of our businesses. I encourage you to find people that you feel comfortable talking to and experiencing business together with. There's definitely opportunities at the Riveter to do that through our forums that we have, as well as our coffee and co-working sessions. Those are all safe places to share about the struggles within your business. You're welcome to share stuff today. I just want you to know that we also are recording this. So just keep that in mind. I also believe in full transparency and honesty when it comes to business. And so I probably overshare things within business life, and don't feel like you have to do that if you don't feel like it. So think about that for a moment, just how you're doing, what's impacting you from this current economy right now, and just kind of think about that for 1 minute. You're welcome to put something into the comments if you want to, but the goal of that is just to kind of check where you're at. So not to be the downer with the economy being bad, I wanted to share some stuff that's really hopeful for what came out of the 2008 recession. Is that there were a lot of startups, a lot of businesses came from the 2008 recession. So nearly 1 in 5 entrepreneurs started a new business after losing their job. I know so many people have been affected by losing their jobs, their spouses losing their jobs, me being one of them. My husband was without a job for the last 5 months and just started a new job this week. I know other people on this call are in the same boat. It is a struggle bus right now. Everybody is struggling. And if you have the ability to start a business right now, it's a really good time to, or start a side hustle if you haven't already, because this is the time where businesses are built. It's a really sucky time, it feels like, to build a business, but there is a lot of good things that can come out of it on the other side. Going back, we have Monica that said, unexpectedly an entrepreneur. Yes, that happens often. I definitely have experienced that in different times of my life, of unexpectedly needing to get back into freelancing due to lack of funds. I had to get creative with some extra revenue streams over the last 5 months as well, even having a job, because I wasn't the primary breadwinner in our household. Startups don't pay an amazing amount of money, by the way, but it was really great that we got the acquisition when we did, because my husband lost his job literally like the same time as we were going through the acquisition. Tamara, she said that definitely feeling the stress of difficulty raising funds. Yes, it is. Oh, I could talk about that all day, and glad to still talk to you about that offline too. But it is, everybody is in this unknown period of time. Like, do I give my money? Do I save my money? Do I trust that this business is going to do well? But there are still people that are making bets on early stage companies, and I hear about them every day. So there is positives out there. Out of that last recession, companies that came out of it were Slack, Uber, Venmo, Postmates, and so many more. So obviously the recession can bring about good things and really great companies. But what those companies were able to do was really leverage technology, automation. Now many are harnessing AI as well to create innovation and innovative solutions during that downturn. Now, they didn't necessarily create completely new areas of business, but they figured out how to do it more efficiently, innovate in a different way, and they built companies that were really successful. I know that many of you on the call are not necessarily building tech startups. So I want you to know too, that there was a lot of small businesses that they looked like they were going to shut down during the last recession. I know tons of business owners that I've talked to about that 2008 recession that really had to get lean and small and really harness all the grit that they had to make it through that time. But they came out and they started to thrive on the other side. So I wanted to make sure that I point out the hope as well. But this really is the time to lower overhead and adapt and innovate. So how the heck do we do this? The goal, like I mentioned at the beginning, is to survive right now. I know I'm a super optimistic person, but I also am a realist. And so Right now, it's to survive. I definitely see the end coming, but we have to make sure that we are able to get there. And so you might not thrive during this time. That's okay. But the ones that are still standing on the other side are going to be the ones that win in this. So how do you get through this without losing your mind? I'm going to share some tools with you today that hopefully will really help you in getting to the other side. But what I want to know first is, when you're thinking about AI, automation, hiring freelancers, what are your biggest blockers and hesitations that come with that? When you hear those words or those terms, what are you like, ooh, this is blocking me. I'm hesitant to do this. I'm hesitant to hire a freelancer. What are your biggest blockers? Or maybe you are nervous about getting automation set up. I know a lot of people sometimes tell me when I'm talking to clients that they're worried that it will take away the feeling of like a human touch point when it comes to their business, or they feel like they won't have as much control or oversight of it. So what are your hesitations when it comes to automation, AI, and freelancers? You can throw that in the chat. Monica said, just understanding all the different AI uses. Yes, I probably have use cases, but I don't know what's all out there beyond basic Bard, ChatGPT. Totally ready to use it though. Awesome. Overwhelmed by figuring out how to implement automation. So many tools out there. Yes. And that is probably the most common reason people don't utilize automation, is because they think it's really hard to learn and get set up, as well as they think it's going to be something that's going to be a long-term cost for them to keep it up to date and all of that. It's not. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. What other hesitations or blockers do you have? Oops. I know sometimes people are really nervous. Oh, okay, now it's not gonna go. Really nervous about AI because they just don't know, like, is it bias? Are there ethical problems? Can I actually use this? Is this plagiarism? All the millions of questions that come into be. And I want, if you take away anything today about AI, is I want you just to play around with it. And I'm going to show you some really easy ways to do that. But I think the biggest thing to learn with AI at this juncture in time, because it can be extremely overwhelming, is that you just need to start experiencing it and try it out for different things. So I'm going to show you how you can figure out what those use cases are for you. And you don't need to necessarily build an AI tool. Everybody's doing that, and a bigger company is going to swoop in and take that competition out very soon. What you need to be thinking about is, how can my business utilize AI to help me save money or make money? And so I'll help you through that process with talking about AI right now. So if you have more hesitations, throw them in the chat, but we will proceed. So artificial intelligence, AI, is advancing at a really rapid pace right now. I mean, honestly, so rapid that I think I might be subscribed to every AI newsletter that there is out there. And now my whole entire inbox is only that every single day. And there are 1,000,021 tools out there every single day that people are creating, which, as a coder and developer and pro technology, I'm really excited for that. But it can be super overwhelming as a business owner. You have FOMO, you don't want to miss out. You want to make sure that you're staying up to date and all of that. And even for someone that was trying to sift through that and help business owners figure out what they should be focusing on, I also got overwhelmed. So I want you to know you're not alone on that. But the goal for today is to make sure that you feel confident enough to start using it, or to expand your usage to benefit you and your business. Because a lot of times people don't get past the very basic or rudimentary start level, and there's so much you can use it for. I will say that I probably use it at least an hour a day. At least an hour a day, I'm in ChatGPT every day, maybe more. And whenever I'm stuck now on anything, literally anything, even like something with planning the summer for my kids, I go straight to ChatGPT. So I've started to integrate it into my life as I think this sounds kind of silly, but almost like a thought partner in some capacity, or someone to share my ideas with. I'm very much an ideas person. And so I need to validate those. Like, are they legit? Do I have something to back that up? Can you help me get to the next step of it? And so that's been really helpful to me. But I do want to note for everybody, and I try to say this as much as I can to people, is that ChatGPT cannot really analyze and make decisions for you. So I think some people think that AI and ChatGPT is at the point where it's going to take away like that higher level skill set. We're not there yet. Will we get there? Maybe, but we're not there yet. It's really giving you back when you type in and you ask for something. It's giving you back strings of data. So strings are just like sets of numbers and letters that are in code. It's literally just spitting that back out to you based off of all the data that it has. And Sarah just said, it stopped taking new information in 2021. And that is true. So unless you have a plugin that allows you to tap into web search, which I do, but there's benefits to that and some don't work very well, you can't access anything past 2021. So it's not fully up to date. It kind of missed like almost 2 years now. So you do need to make sure that you're noting that. And also you can see that a lot of the words that they give back to you are very pattern based. And it's pretty obvious that some of it does have some focus that's not as clear as you want to have when you're getting that output. One of the things that my biggest piece of advice when you're using ChatGPT, and I'll pull ChatGPT up in a minute, is that you need to tell it what it is. I know that sounds weird, but you need to say, Chat, you are now marketing strategist GPT, or you are now TikTok GPT, or LinkedIn GPT, or let's see here, like developmental editor GPT. I'm writing a book right now. So I wanted to see what would my developmental editor tell me about my writing right now. I'm really bad at transitions between paragraphs. So asking it to be in a certain mindset, it allows it to focus. So if you think about AI and specifically ChatGPT to make, and Bard and all of the tools to make it a little bit more comprehensive. If you think about ChatGPT, it is just full of data. So it has all of this data coming into it from all these different places, kind of like that image of the brain with like all the outshoots. Okay. So all this data is coming into it. So if you don't give it a place to focus or a focused direction, it's going to be giving you kind of like too much at one time. And so if you're able to harness it in and tell it what it is and what direction it needs to go, you're going to get a lot better output for it. So make sure that when you're talking to it, that you give it that direction. That's very helpful to know. I love looking at it that way. It's like why people crave a job title that actually reflects that. That is very true. It is honestly, that was a game changer for me when I started focusing it in on that way. Now, remember that you asked it to be something, because if you're going through the thread and you want to change your thought process, it's still going to think that it's doing an outline for you or developmental edits or whatever if you don't tell it to change its mind. So make sure that you pay attention to that. Also, everything that you put into that thread, it's going to remember everything in there. So everything that you're writing into that thread, it knows everything. So when I'm working on stuff with my book, so I don't have it write for me, I have it help me brainstorm. So that's usually what I have it help me do. And it can remember everything about my book. So every time that I go back into that thread, it knows everything that I've done with it so far, which makes it way more accurate because I'm basically training it in that thread with the data that I'm putting in there. So I will say, hey, here's my chapter 1. I'm trying to think about what I'm going to write for chapter 2. I want to make sure that it like builds upon this one. What are some suggestions that you have? And instead of being stuck in writer's block, it helps me move forward with what I need to say. So that is another thing to remember when you're going into it. Keisha says that she wants to leverage it for marketing, for the marketing side of her business initially. I use Looka to develop our logo and want to experiment with other tools on graphic design, etc. Also want to see if it can help for developing job descriptions for roles. And by it, meaning ChatGPT. Yes, it definitely can help you with job description for roles because it has taken in data from Indeed and several other places. So that's a great way to use it for it. Use it for that. There's also some other really great ways for marketing. You can ask it to write you a marketing strategy. I just suggest that you give it a lot of information. So I'll come back in a few minutes to show you what I would write for some ideas that you have. That was really effective in another training that I did. Because a lot of times we don't write enough in a prompt and it's not going to give us accurate of an output. And I think I've told Keitha this too, as we've been working with ChatGPT. But one of the other things that's really important is your prompt might not give you exactly what you want that output to be, but instead of having to start all over again, you literally can just change maybe 1 or 2 words in your prompt that will make it extremely accurate. So always think about, is there 1 word or 1 addition or some more information I can give it that will help make it more accurate, and just keep playing with it as you go. Okay, let me see what the other, I want to see if it can summarize large documents and tables. Yes, it can. It can already. Some of the, what's it called? Plugins now, that if you have the pro version, you now can access all pro ChatGPT. It's $20 a month. If you have that, you can access all the plugins now. There is a PDF summary one. There is one coming for podcast summarization. You can ask it at any time to write it in table format as well. If you didn't know that, you can always ask it to write it in table format. So whenever I'm asking it for scripts for TikTok or Instagram Reels, I always ask it to put it into a table format because it's just clearer and looks nicer. And then you can just copy that into a document. Let's see here. Olga said, so you mean that you can copy and paste your entire chapter of your book to help you write more? Yes, so you can just copy the whole thing. I do have the pro version and the paid version. So I think I can do more things in it than the non-paid version, but you can copy portions of it. You can copy the whole thing. You can train it with your writing. So then it writes more accurately for your voice. So that's what I've been doing, and it gives me a lot better. I've also started to do that for helping me with LinkedIn posts and other stuff. So keep training it with your own data by putting it into that same thread. And then Yasmin said that she's used ChatGPT to summarize information and write social media caption prompts. It saved me so much time and beyond worth the $20 for the pro version. 100,000% agree on that. Let's see here. I will say too that I did do a little checking on whether, because there are like AI checkers out there, like that are like plagiarism checkers, to see if it understands that you are using AI. And so this is my like biggest takeaway from it. One, they're super early, and I think they kind of suck, these checkers, because I would put in stuff that I wrote completely and it said maybe half human, half ChatGPT. And then I would put stuff in that ChatGPT wrote, and it literally didn't know that it was ChatGPT. It said only maybe 10% it could possibly be that. So I will say it's really, people don't know right now. So if you're trying to use those to check anything, just FYI. Olga said, could you input a brand UVP statement and then ask to generate social media captions expounding on? Yes, you could. You also can ask it. Another thing that I've been doing with my book is I have an ideal client, basically, that I'm writing the book towards, an ideal reader. And the prompt or the thread knows that. And so they know that Mariana is my ideal person I'm writing this book for. And so every time I write a chapter, I say, what would Mariana have as a takeaway from this chapter? So I'm making sure that I'm touching base with my ideal client. So you also could do that for like a LinkedIn post or a social media caption. Like, will Mariana find value in this? Or will Olga find value in this? So that's really helpful as well. Monica used it to write an agenda for a 2-day strategy planning session. So much faster for me. Yep, I did it the same for this presentation. I've done it for paid speaking engagements where I've had to, have a whole entire keynote and stuff like that. It's so helpful. I like to look at it as an assistant and thought partner that helps me get to where I need to go a lot faster. Okay. So one thing I want you to keep in mind as you're thinking about this is just how will you and your company adopt AI usage? How will you integrate it into your business? How will you use it to help you move faster and more efficiently towards your goal? So why is it valuable in a recession? And I promise we'll get back to more AI stuff, but I just want to be mindful of getting through all of it. So it's really efficient, like we've talked about for several different things. It's fast, it's efficient. If you're very clear with your prompt, you can get what you need in a matter of minutes. You can get access to data that might take you hours to work through without it. For instance, we just recently asked it to give us a marketing strategy and social media plan for 30 days to launch our new Riveter work platform and only focus on LinkedIn for the content. And it gave us all the content, how we should do it, whether it should be an image, a video, image and text, a carousel, all of the different things. And then what we had our team work on, what we had Kisa work on was creating the graphics for it and making sure that the writing of making sure she wrote the right prompts to get what we wanted to out of that strategy. And she did that. It saved a ton of time. It gave us a clear direction. It gave us 30 days of what we needed to do to focus. And I thought it was really well laid out. So that's a really great option, especially we have a lot of clients that come to us that want social media support or a marketing assistant, but they don't have any strategy. And they also can't necessarily afford like $1,000 strategy session. And so this is a great way to have your freelancer help you get those prompts written for a marketing strategy, have that marketing strategy for you to review, and then for a freelancer to implement it to completion for you. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. So
it's Olga talking, sorry. Can you show or share, or if like we were to try to find someone through Riveter, like what the prompt would look like to generate something like that?
Yeah. Okay. I'll show you our whole thread that we did
Awesome.
for the marketing strategy. And then when you're looking in Riveter, like we're actually trying to get more of our freelancers to list this because so many of them have been using the early equivalents of ChatGPT that we had implemented into our backend product for years. So they're very used to using this and they've been using it and doing the same stuff for a long time. And sometimes all you need as the client is you need that marketing strategy prompt written and established, make sure it's good, and then you just need it executed. And so that helps you get to the finish line. And I'll talk about this a little bit more in the freelancer section, but I'll bring that up for sure. Okay, so the other thing that can really help you is the iteration component of this. So if you want edits on your content, or new iterations of an email subject line because the first one didn't do very well. You can get it really quickly right away, even if you were having a really off day when it comes to thinking creatively, or that's not my thing. And so I always need help with email subject lines. So it can help you save a lot of time, but also money because you're not constantly going back to your freelancer, changing the scope of work or throwing new things at them. Maybe you could just quickly type it in there and make a change and edit it and get it on its way. So it helps you to move at a quicker pace than you might normally. The other thing that I want to point out is it doesn't replace. I think that we're not fully there yet. If you really, really, really know how to use ChatGPT and all the automation, you can be a pretty successful solo entrepreneur with a small team. Maybe like 1 or 2 people, but you're still going to need some other people to help you if you're trying to scale your business and move your business forward. Because Kisa can attest this. I can do a lot in ChatGPT. She can go into my ChatGPT account, probably see how many things I do. But the amount of those that actually make it to the finish line are maybe less than 5%. So just FYI, there's a lot of things you can do, but you still need to execute on them. But it speeds it up significantly. So like if you're working with a freelancer that's like an hourly freelancer through Riveter Work or another platform, it might save them half of their 20-hour, amount of time if they're able to efficiently use ChatGPT. So I just want to say that because I think it's really important to note that. Other ways you can use AI that I think some people don't always think about. So here's some of the use cases that might be helpful for you. Are sales. It can write really good cold email variations. So right now we're sending out a bunch of cold emails to a bunch of companies. We do this every year in an attempt to get, more clients, bigger clients, all of that fun stuff. And so it can help you easily write different variations of the same email. So you can test different ones to see what works the best, as well as you can make those emails be more, like if you're writing a cover letter and you want to make sure that it's really tailored towards that company, same thing for a cold email variation. So you can just tell it a little bit about the company, blah, 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 all of that, and then make sure that it has that good different variation. There's another platform, there's tons of them out there, but one's called seamless.ai, there's hunter.io, there's tons of other ones that implement AI into finding email addresses and helping you to do campaigns and all kinds of stuff. So there's tons of sales opportunity. Also, just about every SaaS product I know right now is implementing AI into the back end in some capacity, which, to note, they're literally just using the API, which is like the code from OpenAI, and implementing it into their platform and then training their data on that platform. So we've done this for over 2.5 years on the Riveter Work and formerly Alibi product. So they're really just using the same thing, but they're trying to bring it into their product to make it more easily accessible for you to utilize. So HubSpot has done this. I recently saw Lead Pages did this. Several other ones are putting it right in. Salesforce is doing it. So they're bringing it right into the interface of their own product. Another thing is with customer service. So you can have chatbots set up really easily right now. People can develop those chatbots for you very, very fast. That can be very custom to you. It can take all of your FAQs or your help desk questions and all of the details about your business and put it into the chatbot. And so it's better than what it used to be. For chatbots, there's also email variations here. Maybe you need to have a whole bunch of different ways to communicate with your client based off of if you're needing to do refunds, or there's all these different common, answers that you have for your business. This is a great way to get those emails knocked out really quickly. I recently used it for some email variations for us, specifically for replies to emails and all different types of stuff for our new platform. And then also it can decrease the size. And I hate to talk about like decreasing your business, but you have to during this time very often because it is expensive to employ people. So decrease your customer support team, or maybe you can utilize those customer support team members for higher level support or other areas of your business if they're really great freelancers or team members that are internal. But it definitely will help you to more streamline the customer service. Data extraction, you can do a lot of market analysis with ChatGPT. You can do like competitor analysis, all of that. You also can really dive deep into customer profiles within it, write case studies, all kinds of stuff. Content creation, we talked a lot about this, but marketing strategy, the scripts are actually pretty good for YouTube, for podcasts, for TikTok, all of the things. The key there is giving it enough information about your business, what you want it to do, all of that. So it still takes a lot of thought process in the prompt creation. Task management. One of the things I've recently been using it for is prioritization of my to-do list, because my to-do list is insane. And so making sure that it's prioritizing it based off of my goals. So I tell it my goals and what has to be accomplished that week. I give it my very long to-do list and I say, prioritize this. And it really helps me to make sure that I'm focusing where I need to. And then I just redo it every day and say what's left and all of that. Scheduling, that's another thing for task management that it can help out with. There's some additions within Zapier that you can use for that. And then overall improve operational efficiency. So by utilizing AI, you can extremely help your operations and the efficiency around them by utilizing it. Okay. Prioritization of the to-do list. Yes, it really, I saw like a tweet about this and it was really helpful. So I've been using that. That's my downfall. I need at least one human person to keep me in check. Yes, my human person is Kisa. And so she's the one that keeps me in check. But you definitely need, I still obviously believe that there needs to be another person instead of AI. But if that person that you have can really learn how to harness AI as well to help support you as a business owner, you're going to do very well. So make sure you can find somebody that can do that. Sarah said, I've been contemplating trying Motion app for prioritization and scheduling. I've heard about Motion. I haven't used it myself, but in my opinion, anything that can keep you on task and keep you moving forward is worth it. Monica said, I definitely want to learn more about scheduling. Even Calendly doesn't cover it for me. There's a lot of new additions in Calendly that I was playing around with recently. I think they're getting closer there, but I know there's scheduling is hard. There are a lot of different checks that you can make within Zapier to help out with it, that a tech assistant could help you kind of navigate for your specific scenarios. But I know a lot of people that their business changes so rapidly on a day-to-day basis, it's hard to keep up with automation, but there are options out there. Okay, freelancers, and then we're going to kick over to all questions. We can go into ChatGPT, all the fun stuff. Freelancers, like I've mentioned, so we had automation, we have AI, all of this is wonderful. It can move our business faster, help us save more money. And one of the things that I think is really great about utilizing these other tools is that it helps us to move in more of a revenue generating focus when a lot of those things are off of our plate. So McKinsey did a study years ago that talked about how we usually as business owners are spending 70% of our time on non-revenue generating activities. That really sucks, especially in a recession when we really need to make money to stay alive. And so my goal with helping you with AI and automation and freelancer support is that you are able to step into that 30% and actually get revenue generating activities done so you can make money within your business. So that's the goal we want to get to. And I'll talk about how you can get to that in just a second. So AI gets you moving in the right direction, but kind of leaves you still hanging. So you need that execution and review, because everything that ChatGPT spits out is not perfect. I know we were reading one of the captions it gave us for a post that we did today, and it was like making it sound really like funny. And you want to make sure you catch those things that like, it's great, but you got to catch those things. And sometimes it's buried deep down into the rest of everything at the bottom of what you're trying to pull out of there. I know that I had a teacher in high school that would only ever read the first paragraph and the last paragraph of an essay. And so you could write whatever the heck you wanted to in the middle of it and still get an A, as long as the first paragraph and the last paragraph were great. So I joke around about ChatGPT that sometimes the first paragraph and the last paragraph are great, but the middle is less than desirable. So make sure that you're reading the whole entire thing, having that review. And then you also want to execute on all of the work that you've just done. So the pros for freelancers during a time of a recession is that they're obviously very often more affordable. You can flex up and down as needed, and you can get hyper-specific skill sets, which you might not be able to do with a more generalist in a role with you. I know that money is tight for everybody right now. It's hard to hire, but there are really flexible opportunities and options to hire freelancers. I know that we do that through Riveter Work, but also just across the board, people are willing to be flexible to work with you. Freelancers can really come in and help with just about anything within your business. And so definitely consider using them. Now, I know that if you're like me, one of my biggest blockers with hiring freelancers years ago, and I still joke that I'm the worst person to outsource ever, even though I build a company around it, is that we do a lot. We're used to doing a lot, especially if we're a solo entrepreneur or a go-getter business person. We're very driven and we want to control everything. And so it's really hard to give up that control to other people that we maybe have not built and established that trust level with yet. But I will tell you that if you can get past that, your mind will be blown and you will be able to actually advance and scale your business, because you'll get out of that 70% of non-revenue generating activities and actually step into that 30% to allow you to move forward. Sarah said, does Riveter work, aka Allobee? I know I still say Allobee half the time. Have the perfect VA that will use AI and check in on me as a human. Yes, we have several, like literally all of our VAs. So we can definitely help you with that, Sarah. And there's some different ways that we can go about it based off of your goals. I'm here for it. Yes. Maybe we should start marketing as that. We will be your human and your AI at Riveter Work. So we will be both. And I am working on implementing kind of an AI interface into our Riveter Work product for our clients too. So that is something that is coming down the line. So stay tuned. Okay, so the way that you can do this is through what I call our sting list. And I swear by this thing. It is something that I established years ago when I was working with clients, but you need to do this. So the most simple way to do this is to spend 1 week. So from today for a week, I want you to spend writing down everything that stings you, everything that you absolutely do not like doing, or it's super repetitive, it sucks time from you, and you do not have to be the one doing it. So someone else could do it. It's not something that is your zone of genius that you absolutely have to do. It's just one of the millions of things that has fallen into your to-do list that's not necessarily something you need to do, but maybe it's a high priority. Maybe you can even use ChatGPT to help you with your sting list. But you need to write these things down. You need to actually physically write them down and see what those things are that are annoying you and stinging you. Allobee, about bees, we call it the sting list. But it's really important to write those things down. Now, once you've done that, literally you can just email it to me and I'll tell you exactly what you need to hire for. But you also can go and look through other platforms too, or hire freelancers. But by putting together that list, you're going to know what needs to get off of your plate first, like literally first. And maybe it's only a few things, maybe it's a lot of things, but then we can help you prioritize what is going to be the most efficient to get off your plate, what you can afford to get off of your plate. And I will tell you that I've been working with clients that have been giving me sting lists and talking to me on sales calls for the last over 4 years. And every time they think what they need to get off of their plate is going to be insanely expensive, it never is as expensive as they think it's going to be. It's never as expensive. It's also something that you can slowly work up towards. And so what you want to do once you get that list is you can prioritize it a little bit for yourself and go, what are the things that I know out of this list I could get off of my plate today without having to do much more with it? Like I literally could transfer this over to somebody today. What are the things that it's going to probably take me about a week or so to just write out what needs to be done, make some Loom videos and get it off of my plate? Or what are the things on this list that maybe are going to take me 3 months, 6 months to actually get off of my plate? Get realistic with yourself, and then you'll know exactly what you need to outsource first. So then you're going to outsource them. You're just going to send them over to Riveter Work. But if you do that, you're going to gain back that time so you can make those higher level decisions. You can focus on those revenue generating activities. And if you're getting that revenue generation, you're going to have the ability to survive the recession and bring on more support for your business to drive those revenue generating activities. So that is the best thing that you can do when it comes to surviving. And I'm 100% for AI and automation, and I want you to use those with your freelancers to actually get the work off of your plate. Because what I'm seeing and talking to a lot of clients, and just people in general that are using AI, a lot of startup founders and stuff, is they're like, oh, this is so great, blah, blah. And I'm like, but how much are you actually getting to the finish line still? Because they probably are not actually using freelancers to help them get to the finish line. And so I want to make sure that you can, because I've seen the power of it by doing that for the last like few years, by using what tools we have to help save us a lot of time. The other thing with automation is that you can get a lot of automation set up really quickly without having to actually spend much money. So a tech assistant can get a ton of automation set up for you, and then it's a one and done. It's done. And then you don't have to worry about it anymore. And you can just have it going in the background. It does what it needs to do, saves you lots of time, saves you money, and allows you to make more money. Monica just wrote a sting list on a notepad and set it next to my monitor. Yes, keep writing every day. So how do you find a good freelancer? I know we're running out of time, and I'm glad to stay longer to answer more questions, but I'm just going to go through this really quickly. Obviously, quality is key. People that have a lot of skill sets, know how to use AI, know how to, they're fully vetted. They've gone through all of the requirements that they need. So we do a full vetting, and we also have a rematch guarantee on our platform. As well as you just want to make sure that you're not spending an insane amount of time looking for people, because that's overwhelming and will prevent you from actually taking action. Last things with automation, I'm going to pull up, actually, this did not save, right? So skip that one. How can automation help? So we've talked a lot about this as we've gone through this today, but it can streamline your business. It can also cut down on administrative support needs. So I want you to be able to bring on that freelancer, but it can allow that freelancer that maybe has really established themselves within your business, but it also gets them to be able to step into a higher level role within your business and take over more responsibilities, because a lot of that admin stuff is kind of taken away, because now you have AI and automation helping with customer support and sales and content generation and all of these different things. And so it allows you to move that person up into a higher level area, and helps them to have more oversight maybe for some of the automation. And like I mentioned, a lot of automation can be one and done setups, which are just that one-time fee to your business, but then it's helping you for years to come, which is one of the best things. And then where to automate. A lot of automation is the same for AI. So a lot of what AI does is help you to automate, and then you can further automate with extra like code automations that like Zapier can do. But chatbots, email marketing, CRMs, there's a lot of things you can do with Zapier to make sure that when someone signs up for your email list, that then they're added into your CRM, and then they're added into this and that, and just make sure that that completely flows. With all the Zaps that we have set up for Riveter, we've probably saved at least, 40 hours a month, maybe 50, I don't know, probably a lot. We have a lot of Zaps. And so if someone was having to hand do all of those things, we would be paying them a significant amount of money. The other ones are QuickBooks is fabulous. Any reporting, accounting, anything that you can do to automate stuff within your business, inventory management, scheduling, and then onboarding for clients, onboarding for new employees, performance tracking, all of that kind of stuff. Those are great places to automate. Sarah said, thank you for this. I'm so happy that I joined this. It's such a great reminder of what I was missing in my life, meaning refinding you as the queen bees on Riveter work. Well, we missed you, Sarah. So I hope you enjoy your next meeting, and we definitely will be in touch, because I know we can support you. And then the biggest automation MVP that there is out there is Zapier. Zapier also has a plugin integrated into ChatGPT that is only getting better by the day. And so much can be automated directly from ChatGPT into Zapier and back again, and all the fun things. So it's going to continue to get better and better. I think my next webinar in probably a few months, once that gets a little bit better, will just be literally how to use the Zapier plugin and ChatGPT to automate your business, because it's not quite there yet, but it's getting there. I've been testing it out a lot. And so soon it will be. But there are tons of things you can do in Zapier. So definitely check it out. Or if it overwhelms you, hire a tech assistant to do it for you. So we're going to jump into with our last almost 10 minutes, a Q&A. So I'm going to let you guys ask any questions that you have. You can unmute yourself. And then I'm also going to pull up ChatGPT. So if we want to ask it any prompts or anything like that, I can do that for you. Or feel free to just put it into the, okay, let's see if I can get this thing to stop. Okay. Can you demo some of your favorite use cases? Yes, if I can just get this to go back to, why does this? Okay, hold on. Okay. Let me go to and share it. So Kisa, do you want to jump in on what one of your favorite use cases is while I get this pulled up? I know I love to put everybody on the spot.
The most recent thing I used it for is to help me create an email sequence. So I gave it exactly what I wanted to use the email sequence for and the details of what it was going to be writing about, and told it I wanted it to give it to me for a 7-day email sequence. And it broke it down: email 1, subject line, and then the copy for that, and then email 2, and all the way through. And it did a pretty good job, but I wasn't really happy with the second email because I didn't feel like it put enough information in there. So I just told it to go back to email 2 and rewrite it using this, and then it adjusted, and then we went from there. So that's what I've used it for most recently.
Yeah, that was a good one. And honestly, I mean, to give like price saving comparison to this, like, I mean, you would be paying almost $1,000 for an email sequence with a copywriter, and that's on the low end. So that saved us $1,000. Again, we got it done really quickly. There were hardly any edits that we really needed to make from it in the end. And then how do we get that to the finish line? He's just setting it up into ConvertKit today so we can get it out there. And then we're going to try to set up a Zap that every time someone signs up for our free trial, that they immediately get this email, because they'll be added with a tag into ConvertKit, and then go forth.
And the great thing is you can tell it what tone to use. You can say, make it business casual, make it fun, make it whatever, and it will adjust the copy depending on what adjective you put in there.
Yes, I'm trying to find, of course, the downfall of ChatGPT right now is that you can never find what you need on the threads. And I put notes on what it is, but I did not put the one on the, so I'm gonna actually just do it for us, that I'm pretty sure I can remember. And if you haven't seen it before, these are where the plugins are. You can enable different plugins. If you have the paid version, you can. I'm trying to create one for the Riveter right now. Honestly, the majority of plugins right now, I would say they're not even in beta. They're what I would call alpha as a developer. They're really horrible. One of the fun ones is actually Instacart. So a fun use case is if you have a lot of random food allergies or family members that eat different stuff, ask it to create a meal plan for the week for your family, and then have the Instacart plugin established, and it'll actually give you exactly what you need to purchase, and it will add it all to the cart for Instacart. So you literally could press just deliver my food, and there's your whole thing done for you. So there's lots of really cool time saving things. I also asked ChatGPT to create a plan for my kids for the summer for 9 weeks. Those are the weeks that we don't have vacations planned. And I said that I wanted it to be Montessori based, pretty hands off, because mama and daddy will be working. But what activities can we do? And it made a really great plan for my kids for the summer that they're excited about. Let's see here. I'm going to just ask it what I did for the marketing strategy. So what I would say to it specifically is, you are now marketing strategist GPT, to make sure you tell it what it is. And then after that, I would go ahead and let it know that we are launching a new iteration of our curated work marketplace. Rivet. if I can write, marketplace riveter work. We want a 30-day launch plan for LinkedIn for content to help increase visibility, and interest. We'll just start with that, and I'm going to show you. And then also you can say, please put it in a table format. So if you ask it to do all of that, it's going to slowly create it. But if you can see, it's going to create it into a table now. So you can ask it to put it into a table for any of it. It will give you the content type, the topic, description, everything that you need to be doing over here. Now, when I did this the first time, I gave it a lot more detail about the product. So that's what I would add into this. So make sure that you're adding in details about the product. I think I gave it my whole spiel about like the pitch for riveter work. So include that and it'll be even more specific. You can ask it to add hashtags for you. You can ask it to tell you, I think we must have said something where it was like, what type of content should this be, graphic or video or whatever. And it told us that kind of stuff too. But generally, this helps give you a whole plan that you probably would have paid quite a bit of money for. Now, is it as great as what that plan would be? Maybe not. And I will give all of our marketing strategists a lot more capabilities than ChatGPT, but they just have nuanced insight. But when you have low amount of budget to get to the finish line, you're trying new things out, you want to see what sticks, I highly suggest using this, because one of my biggest regrets and some stuff with Allobee is we hired professionals to do stuff for us, like not really a marketing team, but like an ads team and stuff like that, before we truly knew who our customers were and what was working, and then it all bombed. So you want to make sure you have tried different things and see what works for your business before, and even during this time of a recession too, you want to make sure that you are really speaking to your client effectively. So, and then from this, I would just literally ask it, can you write post number 30 for me? And then literally it'll write the post for you. And then you can say like, oh, I don't like this, or can you add this, and just keep playing around with it. And that's what we did for the whole entire 30 days of stuff. And make sure you stay in that thread so it will know the information from before. Tamara said, is it worth paying for the better version of GPT? I'm like, yes. I mean, in my opinion, I think everybody that I know that has the paid. The one thing is, if you're paying for it, I think you'll use it more too. Like that's one thing. I told myself like it was worth it if I used it every day. Obviously the company pays for it, but still I'm using it every day. I want to be mindful of that, because we're also want to make sure we're being mindful of money. But I think it allows you to do so much more. It's also not ever offline usually, like some of the times it is for the other one. And it keeps all of your content. It remembers everything. It keeps it all here. They're working on building folders for, I'm a developer with OpenAI. So like I get all the early insights. They're working on folders for it. They finally did the today, yesterday, previous 7 days. You can choose from the model and the plugins when you're doing it. You can say whether it was good or bad. I encourage you to tell them whether it was good or bad, because this is how it trains the model further. So if you have the moment to take the time, do that. If you want to edit it, you can as well and go back to it. You can save the prompts. You can resubmit it, all of that. Okay, Monica, I will pull up I might just have to write it. In terms of the paid version, is it that the replies are of higher quality than the free version? You can only do a certain amount of ask per day on the free version. And so a lot of times what I was running up against when I was doing the free version initially, and then I would just like log into our main account for it, is that you would get like where you wanted to be and you were asking other questions like, sorry, you have your limit. So they definitely know when to cut you off. But I think it's mostly unlimited. For you probably won't I don't know if everybody has access to GPT-4 yet. I think you might just have GPT 3.5 of the model so far. I have 4 because I'm a developer, but they're very similar. There's not a whole lot of changes. You wouldn't notice the changes. I think the changes are mainly hitting for like coding and several other like higher level things right now. Prioritization. So what I did, let's see here. Maybe I have it over here. It sometimes calls it weird stuff too. So if you think about it, try to change what it says to be something that's more helpful for you. Because if not, then you can't find it. So what I would do is, let me pull a to-do list. Here we go. Can you prioritize my to-do list when my biggest goal is to get writing complete for my editor by Friday? This is just random. And this is a short one. When I usually give it, it has like 20 items on it, so it's a little more helpful. But this one, I think also in my original prompt, I added in some stuff about my day. So I said that, I only have these blocks of time during this day, during the week to write. So the more information you give it, the better. So keep giving it more information. This should be your primary focus. Obviously, this was easy because it was 3 items, but this can be really helpful. You also can ask it to time block for you if you integrate your calendar. So there is a plugin that you can use Zap. I think everybody can access this if you have the paid version. And you can ask it to time block for you, or at least give you the ideas of when you should time block, which is pretty cool. Okay. Olga said, can you use it to generate copy based on another brand's brand voice if that brand existed? Yes, but they might not have that brand information. So it would just depend on, now, if you have it and you can copy it in there and give it to it, then yes, it could, do it based off of that. So I would say, like you could probably ask it to be, like brand strategist GPT as they're as you're going through that, and be like, here is the brand voice information from X company, from Nike, and I want to get some content written in this brand voice for my brand, and here's my brand information. Yeah, you definitely could, for sure. Keisha says, thank you for this, a great use of time, and just to dive in deeper, I've only been scratching the surface and I need to jump to the next call. Definitely. Thanks, Keisha, for being here. Everybody will get the recording, so don't worry, you'll get that. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat with any questions that you have. Also, if you're a member at the Riveter, a great thing to ask, which actually we should do this more often, Keisha, is in coffee and co-working. If I'm there one day, like if you're wondering what should my prompt, or I didn't get what I wanted out of this when I was trying to do something on ChatGPT, like bring that and we can like edit your prompt. I'm really good at prompt writing. And I think part of it is because of my coding background, and I'm used to like changing little bits and pieces to make the code work or the error be fixed. And so if you're thinking about this isn't working for me, just think about the one little thing you could change or add that could make it actually be more efficient for you. Yes, send me your sting list and I promise you I will hook you up in the right direction. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you for staying a little later for the rest of the Q&A. Send any other questions that you have my way. I want to be supportive to you, to help you to be able to use AI and automation and to work with freelancers to get it executed. So, and we have some amazing freelancers. Some of them are here on this call too. but they are well-versed in AI. They're always willing to learn more about it too. And I think that's one of the great things is they want to explore that and be able to help save you time as well, as they see the power in it. So thank you, everybody. Have a great day. And we'll send the replay your way soon.